Okay, we're holding Ois Beis. First Maimer, page 3, Ois Beis. The Alter Rebbe began to explain the inyan of Su'us Reish. The first mitzvah in the parsha is to count the Yidden. But the way the Torah describes counting is in the Su'u, to lift up Reish, the Gulgulesan. So there's the inyan of Reish, and there's the inyan of Gulgules. As the Alter Rebbe opened up with the pasuk Nasa Adam B'Tzalmenu K'Dmusenu, that a person is a tselem and a dmus of the Eibishter. So in other words, just like we said, is a mashal to an imshal. So by way of the way it is by a person, we can understand the Eibishter made it in such a way that through that we understand that also there's an inyan like that lamaila. So just like lamata by a person, you have the inyan of reish, and you have the inyan of gugelis. The reish refers to Chabad, Chachma Bina Das, which is in the mayach, which is in the brain. And then you have the inyan of gugelis, which is what surrounds the Chabad. Literally, the gugelis is a skull, but that's the inyan of Ratzin. And the idea of Nesias Reish, Su'us Reish, is to lift up, as Alter Rebbe will explain, to lift up the Reish, the Chabad, to the Gulgelis. In other words, to lift up the Chacham Bin Adas to Gulgelis, to the inyan of Ratzin. So before we explain specifically the inyan of Nesias Reish, so the Alter Rebbe begins B'chlal, the inyan of Ratzin. In Ratzin, you have two dargis in Ratzin, based on a Zoyar. The Zoyar says, Is Ratzin v'Is Ratzin. You have a Ratzin de L'Sata and Ratzin de Leila. Now, Kedai, to clarify, what is this inyan of Ratzin? When we talk about the Nefesh, so the Ratzin is when we want to describe the Nefesh itself, the closest thing that we can use to describe the Nefesh is Ratzin. Because everything else has a tzir, a definition, a form of the way it presents itself. So for example, the inyan of Chabad, so you have that seichel. So that's the way the inyan is mitztayer. The way the inyan takes a certain form to the person, and then you have the inyan of midas. With midas, that's the way the inyan is felt by the person. So each one of those has a specific tzir, has a specific form, a specific image in which it presents itself. Where do you find the nefesh? The nefesh without any tzir whatsoever, without any form, the nefesh itself, that's Ratzin. So Ratzin is the netiyas hanefesh. The nefesh itself is the movement of the nefesh. The nefesh is expressing itself, and that's why we see with regards to Ratzin, so the main inyan is not that which it wants, but the fact that it wants. It's not as important as the inyan. The fact that the nefesh wants, that's the emphasis, not in what it wants. By seichel, by midas, so more important is that which it's the subject matter which is being understood, or in the way it's presenting itself within that specific emotion. Masha'enkin Ratzin is the inyan of the fact that the nefesh wants. And also we find that the Ratzin itself doesn't have a specific keli. even though we said that it's connected with the Gulgelis, but the Gulgelis is more mitzad the Indian of the fact that the Gulgelis is makif nemeach. But the Ratzon itself finds itself throughout the body. And that's why Chassidus explains that when you want to do something, when you want to move your foot or you want to move your arm, so it happens instantaneously. Not that the Ratzon has to travel, kaviyachal, from one place to another, but the Ratzon is there. The Ratzon is Iberal, is throughout. And Memela, because it's throughout, so it finds itself in the arm just as much as it finds itself in the regel, in the foot. And therefore, right away, when a person wants to move his arm or foot, it happens right away.
So everything a person wants, any desire, anything a person wants, is coming from the neshama? Is coming from...
So b'chal, Ratzon, mitzad the Indian of Ratzon, so that it has that, Ratzon has that nafshistic aspect to it. Now, obviously, within Ratzon itself, we make distinctions, whether it's a chitzonius Ratzon or pnimius Ratzon. If the Ratzon is there, he wants to live, or he wants something else. But pnimius, the Indian of Ratzon, is one. Akopanim. So this Indian of Ratzon that the nefesh has in Aveda, where does it present itself? Where does it express itself? It expresses itself in one's desire, one's will, one's netiya, his movement to connect with the Eibishter. So that's what's behind the midas. What's behind the midas is the Indian, is that expression of wanting to connect. Here you see the Indian of the nefesh, and the fact that the nefesh is one with Hashem. But there's a big difference between the way it expresses itself, mitzad midas. So mitzad midas, when a person has avas Hashem, he loves the Eibishter, ki hu chayecha, and what's behind the ava is the fact that the Eibishter is chayecha, the fact that the Eibishter is his whole life. So even though the way it presents itself to him, the way it comes in is in an oifen, which is ki hu chayecha, the Eibishter is his whole life. But what's behind that? Where does that lead to? What's there within that? That's this strong netiya, this strong desire of movement that the nefesh wants to be connected with Hashem. In other words, what you see, if you want to analyze that, what you see is the emotion. You see the ava. That's what's prevalent. But what's there behind the ava? What's there within the ava? What's in the ava is a strong yearning, the strong movement to become connected, to become one with Hashem. What the Alter Rebbe calls is dveikus, lehistabik. And that's the Ratzon. There you see. So here you see the presence of Ratzon, but the way the Ratzon is within a tzir of midas. So that's what the Zohar calls Ratzon HaTachton. That's the lower level of Ratzon. Because just like we said that you have the three avos. You have after b'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshcha, b'chol meidecha. You have the level of ava b'chol levavcha. So that's an ava which there's a tzir of ava, There's a form, an expression of ava, of an emotional ava, but within that, is the ratzon of the nefesh. The ratzon is there within the ava. The ava is a keli for that ratzon. The difference between nefesh, ruach, neshama and chay yechida, so nefesh, ruach, neshama is describing this lower level of ratzon. So it's also, we're talking about the nefesh. Whether we're talking about whichever darga of nefesh we're referring to, whether it's nefesh or the ruach or the neshama, but we're talking about a nefesh. We're talking about a neshama. So even though within each one, in neshama, for example, it's more the tzir of seichel. In ruach, it's more the tzir of midas. In nefesh, it's more the tzir of maisa. But that's just the outer tzir, the outer form. But what is there within that tzir? That's this netiya of the nefesh. This is the lower level of ratzon. This is the fact that the nefesh is drawn to want to be connected with the Eibishter.
What's tzir?
It's a form. It's defined by. It's defined within. Al derech, I mean, not to get too abstract, but al derech, when we say that you have atzilus. Atzilus is iyu v'chayu v'gamu echad. Atzilus is where there's a fusion, a unification between the and the kelim. So it has a tzir of Chabad, or has a tzir of Chagas, or a tzir of Nehim, but nevertheless, within that is the That is with that is a Gili Alikus. That's Alikus. In other words, when we say Alikus, meaning it doesn't have that, it's beyond that definition of Chachma, Bina, or Das. So you have here a fusion, unification between a Keli, which is a tzir, which is a definition, and the which doesn't have a definition. And both of those things are coming together. And as even within the definition, you experience, you're able to ascertain, you're able to see the inyan the way it is without any beyond definition. Al derech, it's not mamish the same thing, but al derech, we say with chachma. So chachma shines. What is felt is with chachma. You see the way it is higher than chachma. Chachma, it's almost like someone explains an inyan, a teacher explains an inyan, but what the student grasps besides the inyan itself, but he grasps that there's something else behind that inyan, something higher than the inyan. Even though it's not articulated, it's not able to articulate it in words, but nevertheless, within the inyan itself is felt something beyond, something more abstract, something something beyond what's actually being said. Al derech dugma. So even though you have the nefesh, ruach, neshama is the tzir, is the definition of in a specific keli, meaning to say either within Chabad or within Midas or within Maisa, but the Ratzin, when we say this Ratzin, this lower level of Ratzin, is experiencing this Elikus that's beyond the tzir, beyond the definition. So the neshama on that level is experiencing Elikus. Meaning to say that it's something beyond the person, the individual. He's experiencing that the netiya, the dra, this longing, this dveikus. As a result of that, but the way he got there, the way it's packaged, kaviyachol, is within the midas, within seichel. That is all the lower level of ratzin. That's nefesh ruach neshama. So that's what the Zohar describes, is ratzin v'is ratzin. That's is ratzin, the lower level of ratzin. Then is ratzin, you have a ratzin which is higher than seichel. Or in different words, the Alter Rebbe says, you have sovev and memale, which that sovev and memale is connected with the lower level of ratzin, and then you have higher than sovev, which is the higher level of ratzin, which that's what we're going to talk about now. So the inyan of noida basharim baila. Noida is the Eibishter allowed himself to be known. So what's the objective? The objective is that we should know, and the Alter Rebbe says the inyan of knowing is to connect, like das, to connect, dvekus, with the Eibishter. He allowed himself to be known. He lowered himself to that we should be able to know him. Basha'arim, every person according to his ability. And Basha'arim, as we said, it has to do with all the different midas, all the different nun shari bina. Each one expresses it in a different way, has a different tzir to it, a different definition to it, and through that we're able to be noida, we're able to connect with the Eibishter, which is Baila, her husband, referring to the Eibishter, referring to Hashem. But that's all the lower level of Ratzin. That is expressed through that is experienced through that. Now, the Alter Rebbe will talk about the higher level of Ratzin. Beis avul is Ratzin leilo. This Ratzin is l'mayla min haratzin ha'leila min hadas v'haskola shenitros u'masig b'sichli b'nosei. So here we're talking about a level of Ratzin, a level of connection, which is already doesn't have the tzir, doesn't have the definition of seichel and midas. It's higher than das. Shenitvas b'masa b'sichle b'nasei. Inin ispashis gedulas shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's beyond. So the only way to understand beyond is to understand how it's not something else, like with b'diyas hashlila. It's not mimale and it's not seviv. Ella. Nimshach b'chinas bitla sagase. Another mashal for this, is the difference between chukim and mishpatim. It's a machzadik brings in a maimer. The difference in chukim and mishpatim, they're both mitzvahs, but the mitzvah of a mishpat is a mishpat. What is a mishpat? A mishpat is a mitzvah that we understand the reason. The reason was given. So, what's the pshat? That's why there's a mitzvah? No. The pshat is that there's a tzir, there's a certain definition of the mitzvah that it's packaged in this way. But the mitzvah itself, is obviously the Eibishter's Ratzin. It's Hashem's, but it is expressed within that, in these oisias, within this keli of a mishpat. When it comes to achoik, so chukim, so there the mishpat, there the ratzin lechatchila is in such a way which defies logic. What's experienced, what's felt in the mitzvah of achoik is that it's higher than my understanding. So both you experience the fact that it's the ratzon of the Eibishter. But one is you experience the ratzon of the Eibishter the way it comes into a keli, the way it's defined, and one is l'chatchila, it comes in such a way which is you feel how it is higher than seichel. That's another dogma of these two ritzonos. The ratzon here, there's the lower level of ratzon. There's a higher level of ratzin. Shenimsha b'chinas bitul hasagase V'asag is kol anivroim legabim husav atzmos yizbarach. So the the way what is expressed is the fact that everything is this battle. Mipnei reimamusi ein kates. The less machshavet v'isa beklal. V'ulemayla m'chinas hasaga v'geder haskala. He's higher than hasaga, and not only higher than hasaga, even geder haskala. The difference between higher than seichel and in geder seichel is something you can have in seichel, in intellect. You can have different levels, right? You can understand so much. Then there's someone else that comes and understands it more, and then you have someone that comes and understands it more. But that's still begeder seichel. It's still within the realm of seichel. You have different levels, and then you have something which is higher than geder seichel. It's like the Alter Rebbe describes in Tanya. If someone's to say this idea is so deep, I can't touch it. So it's anybody that will hear that will laugh. Why? Because touch, the idea of touching and the idea of understanding is not in the same arena. B'chlal. It's not in the same realm. When we say seichel, so you that when it's in the realm of seichel, so you can talk about different levels, but something which is higher than geder seichel, it's b'chlal not defined with, it's not defined, but in the realm of seichel at all. So the Eibishter is higher than geder seichel. In other words, this second idea, this second ratzin brings out the fact that the Eibishter is higher than seichel and higher than geder seichel. So what is in? We're talking about in Avedis Hashem. So in Avedis Hashem, what happens when a person has this experience, which is l'mayla min hadas, l'mayla from the fact that the Eibishter is higher than any geder. So v'idei zeh tisera nefesh lotzis min ateko. So this arouses the nefesh to go and leave its shell. This is the yearning and the departing of the nefesh. The whole discussion of Seven Memale is only the earth. Is only in the ziv, in the earth. But who bechinas malchus in Seif Baruch Hu? Kamei Shamim Melech Yachid Chei Lamim Uchsiv Malchus Chamachus Klei Lamim. So within the gather of Malchus, so then you have the Indian of Seviv and Memale. Aval Hu Levadei. The Eibishter himself Lebi Gather Memale Klamim Lebi Gather Seviv Klamim. Let's machshavet v'isabei klal. So all this describes the fact that Eibishter is completely beyond any type of any realm of Seviv and Memale. So this type of experience of the Eibishter, how the Eibishter is completely beyond the world and even beyond Seviv, that's his higher level of Ratzin. So when is that Ratzin, this higher level of Ratzin, which this bittul that is present? In other words, this experience of the Eibishter, the way he is higher than Seven Memale, that's what's Nimshach and Chag and Shavuos. So by Matan Torah, which happens every year, so what happens by Matan Torah, that we got the Aseres HaDibros. What's unique about the Aseres HaDibros? What's unique about the Aseres HaDibros is that what was communicated within the Aseres HaDibros was this level of Ratzin, the Ratzin which is higher than Seviv and Memale, higher than the lower level of Ratzin. This higher level of Ratzin, that's what was communicated. What's the pshat when Chazal say that in every word, every speech, the Eibishter, there's Aseres HaDibros, and in every dibur, the neshama flew out. So the adgasha, the emphasis here is the neshama. Neshama meaning the nefesh ruach neshama. The nefesh ruach neshama, all of a sudden, this second inyan of the Eibishter, the way he is higher than Seif and Mamale, that's in of Chai and Yechida. So what was Nizgala, what was revealed by Matan Torah, is this higher level of neshama, the Chai Yechida. And what happens then? Then the neshama wants to reconnect to its source, and the source is the Chai Yechida. V'hainu sha'adibur hayamamshich lamtshuka zu. The dibur that the Eibishter conveyed on Matan Torah, the Nechi Avay Lekecha, sha'adibur hu amshacha. Dibur means, when we say dibur, so we mean to be mamshich, to bring down. From the Eibishter to the Eden. And that's what it says, I am Hashem Alekecha, your God. You, your God, the Eibishter shines in Mispashet B'cha. But what level of Elikus is shining? The Anechi, which is Anechi Misha Anechi. Pirush, higher than a name. Pirush nobody, it's I am who I am. Meaning nobody, it's higher than any understanding. And this level of Elikus, which is described with Anechi, is Avaya Lekecha. This is Avaya Lekecha, that is your God, meaning that is the connect, that is the pnimius of a yid, is Alekecha. Avaya Lekecha, that's who you are. That's when we say in Tanya, in chapter 2, Chelika, that the yid is a neshama, is a chelik Aleka, mimal mamish. That's what we mean. It's a part of the Eibishter, meaning to say it's a part of the Eibishter. It's higher than Seviv, higher than Memale. It's the Eibishter himself. The Hainu Nitzis Alikus Asher Becha, Ki Chelik Avaya Amei, K'meshikasav Atam Advekim Ba'avaya Likechem Chaim Kulchem Hayim. So now so that's what's this. So then you ask the question, okay, if that's the Gilui that happened in Matan Torah, so that's who we are. Why was the Parcha? It says Chazal say Parcha Nishmasam. The neshama had left the body. So l'chura, if that's who the neshama is, so why did the neshama have to leave the body? So Alter Rebbe is going to explain. No, the neshama that when it comes into the body is only the lower level, nefesh ruach neshama. But this is the higher level of neshama, which is Chai Yechida. Ki nemahus haneshama is vatzmuson lo yard lislabish b'elam hazeh beguf v'nefesh v'hamis. Elo zivar ba'almi mena bilvad. Hu shem ispashim nitbusechol amidas. Ki niskelil, only the lower level of the neshama. She'ein ein koiches hanefesh. So these are the different faculties of the neshama, of the nefesh. Aval iker mohusa v'atzmusa shel neshama. The main, who the neshama really is, the essence of the neshama. Lefi mashehi b'mekor chayitzva mereish kol dargin berasiv yitzartiv avasisiv. So higher than all the levels of berasiv yitzartiv and asisiv, berasiv yitzartiv asisiv, bria yitzira asiya, or the different ways the neshama, the nefesh ruach neshama, hu lemayla mayla megeder asaga anitus b'seichel anushim, is beyond the any beyond grasp. Ella she dvuka b'shor shebelekim chayim. It's connected and one with the Eibishter, b'dvekus nitzchi, for everlasting le'el meyad. Ve'ein la ela ratzon echad, and the neshama is described. It only has one ratzon, lavia shebeshamayim bilvad, la'olam b'li shinui. There's it never changes. That's what we mean when we say it's a chelik. A part of means it's a part of the Eibishter. There's no change. It doesn't have. It doesn't